The alarm screamed through the bridge of the Imperial warship Crimson Fang, and Commander Dravok felt his blood turn cold. His 4 hands gripped the command console as the main screen flickered with impossible readings. "Sir, we have a spatial tear opening directly ahead," his sensor officer shouted over the chaos. "Energy readings are off the scale. Nothing in our database matches this signature." Dravok stared at the view screen where space itself seemed to crack open like broken glass. His empire had ruled 40 star systems for 8,000 years. They had crushed rebellions, conquered primitive worlds, and destroyed anyone who dared challenge their authority. But this was something different. All weapons online. "Raise shields to maximum," Dravok commanded. Around him, 6 other Imperial battleships moved into defensive formation. They had come to this sector to investigate reports of unauthorized activity near the Forbidden Zone, the zone where humans lived. The crack in space widened, and from that impossible darkness emerged a vessel that made Dravok question everything he knew about ship design. It was sharp angles and dark metal, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. No bright colors, no decorative symbols, no signs of the pride and honor that marked proper warships. Just pure cold efficiency. The ship looked like a weapon, not a vessel, like something built for one purpose only: destruction. Identification? Dravok demanded. "Unknown, sir. The ship is not broadcasting any signals. Its hull composition is unlike anything we have encountered. Our scanners cannot penetrate it." The human ship hung motionless in space, smaller than any of the Imperial vessels, but somehow more threatening. Dravok had heard stories about humans. Old stories, classified reports that most commanders never saw. Stories about a survey fleet that had gone to Earth decades ago and barely escaped with their lives. "Send standard challenge on all frequencies," Dravok ordered. His communications officer worked quickly. "Channel open, Commander. Unknown vessel, you have entered Imperial territory. Identify yourself immediately or face destruction." Silence filled the void between stars. Then, the response came in perfect Imperial language, every word pronounced with cold precision. "This is the Earth warship Striker. You are violating the buffer zone established by treaty. You have 2 minutes to withdraw all vessels from this region." The bridge erupted in shocked chatter. Dravok silenced them with a gesture. 2 minutes. One small ship was giving the Imperial fleet 2 minutes to retreat. The arrogance was breathtaking. "They must be insane," his tactical officer said. "We have 7 battleships. They have 1 vessel barely a third the size of ours." But something in Dravok's gut screamed warning. He had not survived 300 years of military service by ignoring his instincts. "Scan that ship again. I want to know what we are facing." The science officer bent over her console, her antennae twitching with concentration. "Sir, their reactor output is impossible. They are generating more power than our entire battle group combined. That should tear their ship apart from the inside, but somehow they are containing it." "What kind of weapons are they carrying?" "I cannot identify them, Commander. The weapon ports are open, but I have never seen designs like these. Our computer has no reference for comparison." Dravok felt sweat forming despite the cool bridge temperature. The timer on his screen showed 90 seconds remaining. He opened a channel to his fleet. "All ships, maintain position but prepare for evasive maneuvers. Charge all weapon systems." The human ship rotated slowly, bringing its weapons to bear on the Imperial formation. Still no threats, no demands. Just quiet, patient readiness. "Sir," his second-in-command said quietly, "perhaps we should consider their demand. The old reports about Earth, about what they did to the survey fleet." "We do not retreat from primitives," Dravok snapped. But even as he said it, he wondered if humans were truly primitive. Any species that could build a ship with that kind of power output that could somehow jump through space in ways the Empire had never mastered, they were not primitive. They were dangerous. 30 seconds remained on the timer. Dravok made his decision. "All ships lock weapons on target. Prepare to fire on my command." The 7 Imperial battleships aligned their massive cannons. Enough firepower to destroy a small moon, all focused on one human vessel. It should have been a slaughter. 10 seconds, sir. 5 seconds. Timer reaching 0. The human ship did not move, did not flee, did not even attempt to raise shields. It simply waited. "Fire," Dravok commanded. 7 battleships unleashed destruction. Energy beams capable of melting through solid rock, missiles that could crack planetary surfaces, kinetic rounds moving at impossible speeds. All of it converged on the human ship in a display of force that lit up the darkness of space. For 3 seconds, the sensors were blinded by the sheer energy of the barrage. When they cleared, Dravok expected to see debris, expected to see the remains of the arrogant humans scattered across the void. Instead, the human ship remained, untouched. Not even a scorch mark on its dark hull. Before Dravok could process what he was seeing, every weapon system on his ship went dark. Not damaged, not destroyed, just offline, dead, useless. Status report, he shouted. Sir, all tactical systems are offline. Weapons targeting even our missile tubes. Engineering reports no damage, but the system simply will not respond. The other ships report the same. 7 battleships, 7 of the Empire's finest warships, all rendered defenseless in the span of a heartbeat. And the human ship had not even fired. The communications channel crackled to life. The human voice was calm, almost gentle. We gave you 2 minutes. You chose violence. Now you understand the cost of that choice. You are all still alive because we allowed it. Leave this sector immediately and do not return. This is your only warning. Dravok stared at the dark ship on his view screen. For 8,000 years, the Empire had been the strongest force in this region of space. They had never retreated, never backed down, never shown weakness. But as he looked at his dead weapons systems and thought about how easily the humans had disabled his entire fleet, Dravok understood one terrible truth. The Empire had finally met something more powerful than itself. All ships, he said quietly, his pride crumbling with each word, execute retreat pattern, maximum speed. We are leaving. As his battleship turned away, Dravok sent one final message to Imperial Command. The humans are not what we thought. Send everything we have. Send it now. Because if we do not take them seriously, the Empire itself may be in danger. The emergency session of the Imperial High Council began with chaos. Holographic displays filled the circular chamber, showing the same terrifying image on repeat. 7 Imperial battleships fleeing from a single human vessel. Supreme Leader Corvin watched the recording for the 5th time, his scaled hands trembling with barely controlled rage. Explain this, Corvin demanded, his voice echoing through the chamber. Explain how our finest battle group was defeated without a single shot being fired against them. Commander Dravok stood in the center of the room, surrounded by angry council members. He had spent 3 days racing back to the Imperial homeworld, and his exhaustion showed. Supreme Leader, the humans possess technology we cannot counter. They disabled every weapon system on every ship simultaneously. We had no defense. Impossible, Council Member Terran shouted. No species can remotely shut down our military systems. Our networks are isolated, encrypted, protected by centuries of security development. Yet they did it, Dravok replied firmly. And they did it while our weapons were firing at them. Our entire bombardment had 0 effect on their hull. Either they have shields we cannot detect or their armor is beyond anything we understand. The chamber fell silent. Supreme Leader Corvin turned to his chief scientist, an ancient being named Vril, who had served the Empire for over 4 centuries. Is such technology possible? Vril's 6 eyes blinked in sequence as he considered. Theoretically, yes. If a species developed quantum-level manipulation of electronic systems, they could send shutdown commands faster than our computers could process them. As for their defenses, there are materials that could absorb or deflect energy weapons. But creating them requires manufacturing precision we have never achieved. How long would it take us to develop similar technology? Corvin asked. Centuries, Supreme Leader. Perhaps longer. We would need to completely reimagine our approach to warfare and engineering. Council Member Terran stepped forward. Then we must destroy them now before they grow stronger. Mobilize the entire Imperial fleet. Crush Earth before they can threaten more of our territory. You fool, another council member, Nexar, interjected. Did you not hear Commander Dravok's report? 7 ships could not scratch their vessel. How many more do you think will die in your pride-fueled assault? The argument escalated quickly, with half the council demanding immediate military action and the other half urging caution. Supreme Leader Corvin raised his hand for silence. Enough, Vril, access the classified archives. I want every piece of information we have about Earth and humanity. Everything from first contact onward. Vril worked his console, his expression growing more troubled with each file he opened. Supreme Leader, there is extensive documentation here. Most of it was classified at the highest levels and never shared beyond a small circle of officials. Share it now. The main display changed, showing an old recording. The date stamp indicated it was from 70 years ago. A voice began narrating. This is Survey Commander Brix. We have arrived at the third planet of system designation G447. Initial scans show a pre-space civilization. We will establish first contact and bring them into the Empire as a subject world. The Council watched as the survey fleet approached Earth. The planet looked primitive, covered in cities but with only basic satellites in orbit. It seemed like an easy conquest. Then everything went wrong. The recording showed 3 small human ships appearing from behind Earth's moon. They were crewed vessels, clearly converted from civilian designs. The survey commander sent a standard demand for surrender. The humans responded by firing, but not with energy weapons. They fired solid metal projectiles, massive chunks of dense material accelerated to incredible speeds. The first Imperial ship raised its shields, confident they would stop the primitive attack. The shields held for exactly 2 seconds. Then they collapsed under repeated impacts, all hitting the exact same point. The 4th projectile punched through the hull and struck the reactor core. The ship exploded, the council chamber filled with shocked gasps. On the recording, the other human ships moved with shocking speed and precision, using Earth's gravity to slingshot themselves around the planet and attack from different angles. 2 more Imperial vessels died in less than 30 seconds. They studied our shield technology, Vril explained quietly. They calculated the exact frequency and the exact amount of kinetic force needed to overwhelm our defenses. They turned simple physics into a weapon we could not counter. How? Corvin demanded. They were primitives, pre-space. They were trapped in their home system, yes, but they were not primitive. They had advanced computers, artificial intelligence, quantum physics, genetic engineering. They simply had not developed faster than light travel yet. We measured their advancement by whether they could travel between stars. We should have measured it by their ability to solve problems and wage war. The recording showed the surviving Imperial ships fleeing, leaving their dead behind. The Council watched in stunned silence as the transmission ended. After this incident, Vril continued, the Empire established the Sol Accord. A buffer zone was created. We agreed to leave them alone if they stayed in their system. For 70 years this arrangement held. Until we broke it, Nexar said bitterly. We established monitoring stations in the buffer zone. We tested their defenses. We provoked them. Supreme Leader Corvin's expression hardened. And now they have responded. That warship, the Striker, it was not a lucky encounter. It was a message. They are telling us they are no longer confined to their system. They are telling us they have been preparing for this moment. What do we do? Terran asked, his earlier bravado gone. We contact them, Corvin decided. We open diplomatic channels. We acknowledge our violation of the treaty, and we pray that humans are more interested in peace than in demonstrating what else they can do to us. Commander Dravok spoke up. Supreme Leader, with respect, I do not think the Striker is alone. The way it appeared, the confidence with which it operated, it acted as though it had support. There may be more human warships we cannot detect. The thought sent chills through the Council. If one human ship could disable 7 Imperial vessels, what could a fleet of them do? What could they do to the Imperial homeworld itself? Send the message, Corvin ordered. Tell the humans we wish to negotiate, and tell them we are ready to honor the treaty we foolishly violated. As the Council dispersed, Vril approached Corvin privately. Supreme Leader, there is one more thing you should know. In all our records of human history, they have one consistent pattern. They prefer peace, but when forced to fight, they do not stop until they win. Completely and absolutely. If we go to war with Earth, we must be prepared to fight until one side is completely defeated. There will be no middle ground. Corvin looked at the frozen image of the human warship on the display. Dark, powerful, and utterly alien in its design. Then we must ensure there is no war, because I am not certain the Empire would survive it. Captain Lisa Grant stood on the bridge of the Earth warship Striker, watching the incoming transmission from the Imperial homeworld. Her crew was silent, waiting for her decision. Behind her, the tactical display showed something the Empire did not know. 6 more human warships, invisible to Imperial sensors, positioned in a perfect strike formation around their location. They are asking for negotiations, her communications officer, Lieutenant Jake Morrison, reported. The message is from Supreme Leader Corvin himself. He is acknowledging the treaty violation and requesting diplomatic talks. Lisa studied the message carefully. The Empire's tone had changed completely. 3 days ago, they had fired on the Striker with enough firepower to destroy a moon. Now they were asking politely for conversation. Fear was a powerful motivator. Send a response, Lisa ordered. Tell them we will negotiate, but on our terms. They will send 1 diplomatic vessel unarmed to these coordinates. Any other Imperial ships within 10 light years will be considered an act of war. Captain, should we reveal the other ships? Lieutenant Morrison asked quietly. Lisa smiled. Not yet. Let them think the Striker is alone. Let them wonder how one ship can be so confident. Fear of the unknown is more powerful than fear of the visible. The response from the Empire came within minutes. They agreed to all terms. A single diplomatic vessel would arrive at the designated coordinates in 6 hours. Good, Lisa said. Now we show them what they are really dealing with. Morrison, send the activation signal to the fleet. All around the Striker, space seemed to ripple and bend. One by one, 6 more human warships materialized, appearing as if they had been invisible ghosts. Each ship was identical to the Striker. Dark, angular, bristling with weapons that Imperial technology could not identify. The sensor stealth systems that had hidden them deactivated simultaneously, revealing the full strength of Earth's military presence. Full sensor sweep of the area, Lisa commanded. I want to make sure every Imperial listening post picks up this signal. Let them see what they missed. Let them understand that we have been watching them this whole time. Lieutenant Morrison worked his console, then looked up with satisfaction. Captain, we are detecting emergency transmissions from 3 Imperial monitoring stations. They just realized we have 7 warships where they thought there was 1. 7 ships they can detect, Lisa corrected. For all they know, there could be 20 more they cannot see. The beauty of the strategy was its simplicity. Earth did not have unlimited resources. These 7 warships represented years of development and massive investment. But the Empire did not know that. They did not know if Earth had 7 ships or 700, and that uncertainty was a weapon more powerful than any missile. 6 hours later, the Imperial diplomatic vessel arrived exactly on schedule. It was a small ship, elegant and clearly unarmed. Lisa watched it approach on the main view screen. They are requesting permission to dock, Morrison reported. Denied. We will conduct negotiations via holographic communication. I am not bringing Imperial representatives onto this ship where they can study our technology. The holographic projector activated, and Supreme Leader Corvin appeared on the bridge. He was tall, reptilian, with scales that shifted colors in the light. His eyes showed intelligence, and Lisa noted with satisfaction, fear. Captain Grant, Corvin began, his voice measured and careful. I am grateful you agreed to this meeting. You violated the Sol Accord? Lisa replied bluntly. You built monitoring stations in the buffer zone. You sent military vessels into restricted space. You tested our defenses. Why should Earth trust anything you say now? Because we made a mistake, Corvin admitted. The Empire has ruled this region for 8,000 years. We grew arrogant. We forgot that strength and age do not guarantee wisdom. Your people taught us humility very effectively. Humility forced by fear is not true humility, Lisa said. It is simply survival instinct. What happens when that fear fades? When you think you have found a way to counter our technology, will you violate the treaty again? Corvin's expression shifted. You speak as though trust must flow only one direction. But tell me, Captain, why did Earth suddenly reveal itself now? You have clearly been preparing for decades. Building these warships, developing weapons we cannot comprehend. You could have remained hidden in your home system indefinitely. Why emerge now with such force? Lisa had expected this question. Because isolation is no longer acceptable. The galaxy is changing. New threats are emerging. Resources are becoming scarce. Earth can no longer sit behind walls and hope the universe leaves us alone. We need allies. We need trade. We need a place in the galactic community. Then why not simply ask? Why this display of military power? Because the Empire only respects strength, Lisa answered. If we had come peacefully asking for recognition, what would have happened? You would have tested us, pushed us, tried to dominate us. We have studied your history, Supreme Leader. Every species that approached the Empire from a position of weakness became a subject world. We chose to approach from a position of strength instead. Corvin was silent for a long moment. You are correct. The Empire has a long history of conquest, but perhaps it is time for that to change. Perhaps it is time for the Empire to have true allies rather than subject worlds. Words are easy, Lisa said. We need action. Here are Earth's terms. First, all Imperial presence in the buffer zone will be removed immediately. Second, the Empire will pay reparations for violating the treaty. Third, we establish new diplomatic channels with proper oversight to prevent future misunderstandings. Fourth, we create a joint task force to address common threats like piracy and resource disputes. You ask us to pay for our mistake and then work alongside you? Corvin asked. Yes, because Earth does not want to be your enemy, Supreme Leader. We want to be your partner. But partnership requires trust, and trust requires consequences when treaties are broken. If you agree to these terms, Earth is prepared to share some of our technological advances. Our quantum computing systems, for example, could revolutionize your communications networks. Corvin's eyes widened slightly. The offer of technology was unexpected. You would share your advantages with us? Selectively and with proper safeguards. But yes, because a strong ally is more valuable than a defeated enemy. The galaxy is vast, Supreme Leader. There are threats out there that neither Earth nor the Empire has encountered yet. When those threats arrive, we will both be grateful to have friends. Corvin studied Lisa's face through the hologram. You are either very wise or very naive, Captain Grant. Perhaps both, Lisa replied. But I am also very well armed, very well prepared, and very serious about these terms. Accept them, and we build something new together. Reject them, and Earth will enforce the treaty boundaries with whatever force is necessary. The Supreme Leader nodded slowly. I will present your terms to the High Council. I believe they will accept. I know they will, Lisa said confidently, because they are terrified of what happens if they do not. The pirate attack came without warning. Commander Tom Walsh watched the sensors aboard the human warship Guardian as 3 unidentified vessels dropped out of hyperspace and opened fire on an Imperial cargo hauler. The attack was brutal and efficient, tearing through the cargo ship's shields in seconds. Captain, Walsh called across the bridge. We have a situation developing. 3 hostile vessels attacking Imperial civilian ship in Sector 9. Captain Angela Torres moved to his station immediately. The Guardian was part of the first joint Human-Empire patrol group, an experiment to see if the new alliance could actually work in practice. For 2 weeks, they had been flying alongside Imperial warships, protecting trade routes from the pirates that plagued this region. So far, it had been quiet, until now. Identification on the attackers? Torres asked. Unknown configuration. Not Imperial design. Energy signatures suggest they are using stolen military-grade weapons. Definitely pirates. On the view screen, the cargo hauler was trying desperately to escape, but the pirate ships were faster and better armed. Torres saw escape pods launching from the damaged vessel. Civilians were dying while she watched. Commander Walsh, battle stations. Get me a link to Captain Breck on the Imperial ship Valor. The holographic image of Captain Breck appeared instantly. The reptilian officer looked grim. Captain Torres, we are seeing the same attack. Those are our people on that cargo ship. Then let us go get them, Torres said simply. Guardian will take the high approach vector. Valor and your sister ships take low. Standard pincer formation. Breck hesitated. You trust us to coordinate an attack? We have only practiced together for 2 weeks. Either we trust each other now or this alliance means nothing. Your call, Captain. Breck's scales shifted color. A sign Torres had learned meant he was making a difficult decision. Then he nodded. Agreed. Valor Battle Group will follow your lead. The Guardian's engines flared to life, propelling the warship toward the battle at maximum speed. Behind them, 3 Imperial vessels moved into formation. It was the first real test of whether humans and the Empire could function as a unified military force. Weapons charged and ready, Walsh reported. Target locks acquired on all 3 pirate vessels. Wait, Torres ordered. Let them see us coming. I want them to have a chance to run. Captain, they are still firing on the cargo ship. More escape pods launching? I know, but we give them the chance anyway. Open a channel on all frequencies. Walsh worked his console, then nodded. Torres spoke clearly and firmly into the communications system. Attention, unidentified vessels. This is Captain Angela Torres of the Earth Warship Guardian. You are attacking a civilian ship under treaty protection. Cease fire immediately and surrender, or you will be destroyed. You have 30 seconds to comply. The pirate ships continued their attack as if they had not heard. On the tactical display, Torres could see them trying to board the crippled cargo hauler. They were after the cargo, not caring about the lives they were destroying. Time is up, Torres said coldly. All ships weapons free. Take them down. The Guardian and the 3 Imperial vessels opened fire simultaneously. The coordination was not perfect, but it was close enough. Human targeting systems identified the weak points on the pirate ships, while Imperial heavy weapons delivered devastating firepower. The first pirate vessel exploded within seconds. The second tried to run but was caught by a spread of missiles from the Valor. The third managed to raise shields and return fire. They are targeting the Guardian. Walsh shouted as weapons fire rocked the ship. Shields holding at 80%. Tactical analysis, Torres demanded. Where are they vulnerable? Their portside reactor is fluctuating. If we hit it hard enough, we can cause a cascade failure. Send targeting data to the Valor. Let them take the shot. Walsh looked surprised but followed orders. On the view screen, Torres watched as the Imperial ship adjusted its aim and fired a concentrated beam directly at the weak point her crew had identified. The pirate ship's reactor exploded, tearing the vessel apart from the inside. Captain Breck's image reappeared on the holographic display. Your tactical data was precise, Captain Torres. That was good shooting. Your gunners executed it perfectly, Torres replied. Now let us secure those survivors. The joint force moved to the disabled cargo hauler, deploying rescue shuttles to collect the escape pods floating in space. Torres watched as human and Imperial crews worked side by side, pulling frightened civilians from the pods and providing medical care. This was what the Alliance was supposed to be about. Not just military cooperation, but saving lives together. Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the cargo ship's captain, Walsh reported. He wants to thank us personally. The face that appeared on screen was battered and bleeding, but alive. This is Captain Dern of the merchant vessel Swift Prophet. You saved our lives. My crew and I are in your debt. No debt necessary, Torres said. Just doing our job. Get your people to safety and file a full report on those pirates. We need to track down the rest of their group. After the transmission ended, Torres turned to her crew. Analysis. What do we know about those attackers? Walsh pulled up the sensor data. Their weapons were definitely military-grade, probably stolen from Imperial armories. But their tactics were sloppy. They relied on surprise and overwhelming firepower rather than skill. I would estimate they are part of a larger organization. 3 ships would not operate alone in this region. Torres nodded slowly. Which means there are more of them out there. Maybe a lot more. Commander, send all our combat data to Earth Command and to the Imperial Military Headquarters. Both sides need to see how we fought together. And both sides need to know there is a bigger threat in this sector than anyone realized. Captain, Walsh said quietly, we just proved something important today. We proved that humans and the Empire can work together in combat, that we can trust each other when lives are on the line. We proved it to ourselves, Torres agreed. Now we need to prove it to everyone else. This alliance is new and fragile. There are people on both sides who do not believe it can work. What we did today, that is evidence that it can. On the main view screen, the rescue operation continued. Human shuttles and Imperial shuttles moved back and forth, transferring wounded civilians to ships with better medical facilities. No one was asking which species the victims belonged to. They were just saving lives. That was what mattered. Captain Breck contacted Torres again. We should patrol together more often. Your tactical systems and our firepower make a strong combination. Agreed, Torres said. But we need to investigate these pirates. 3 military-grade vessels do not just appear randomly. Someone is supplying them. Someone is organizing them. And if they are bold enough to attack in Imperial space with joint patrols active, they are either very stupid or very confident. Or they have support from someone powerful, Breck added grimly. Torres felt a chill run down her spine. The alliance between Earth and the Empire was only weeks old. Already they had enemies. Already someone was testing them. The question was, who and how many more surprises were waiting in the darkness between stars? The alert reached Admiral Patricia Foster at Earth Defense Command in the middle of the night. She rushed to the operations center, still pulling on her uniform jacket, to find the room in controlled chaos. On the massive central screen, sensor data showed something impossible. "Report," Foster demanded. Major David Chen gestured to the display. "Admiral, we are detecting massive spatial distortions in the Korvax sector. 15 unknown vessels just appeared out of nowhere. They are not using any known form of hyperspace travel. They simply materialized." Foster studied the readouts. The ships were enormous, each one larger than an Imperial dreadnought. Their energy signatures were unlike anything in Earth's database or the Imperial records they had been sharing. "Have they made any hostile moves?" "Not yet. But, Admiral, they appeared directly between the Korvax system and the Imperial homeworld. The positioning is deliberate. They are blocking the main trade route. Get me Supreme Leader Corvin on the priority channel. Now." The holographic display flickered to life, showing Corvin in what looked like his own command center. The reptilian leader's scales were dark with stress. "Admiral Foster, you have seen the intruders?" "We have. Any identification?" "None. They are not responding to any communication attempts. Our sensors cannot penetrate their hulls. It is like they are made of nothing or everything. Our computers cannot process what they are detecting." Foster felt her pulse quicken. This was exactly the scenario the Alliance had been built to handle, a threat that neither Earth nor the Empire could face alone. "Supreme Leader, I am mobilizing all available Earth warships. I recommend you do the same. We should establish a joint command structure immediately." "Agreed. I am sending our fleet to the Korvax sector." "Admiral, whatever these ships are, they appeared in Imperial space, but they are close enough to Earth to be your problem as well. This is truly our first test as allies." The transmission ended. Foster turned to her staff. "Get me Captain Torres on the Guardian. She is already in that sector with the Joint Patrol Group. And send an emergency signal to all Earth warships. I want every available vessel headed to Korvax within the hour." Across the galaxy, human and Imperial ships began moving toward the mysterious intruders. But before any of them could arrive, the unknown vessels acted. They moved forward in perfect formation, their ships gliding through space with a grace that seemed impossible for their size. Then, simultaneously, they began broadcasting. The message was in a language neither humans nor the Empire had ever encountered. But the tone was unmistakable. A demand. A challenge. A threat. "Translation systems are working on it," Major Chen reported. "Our AI is comparing the patterns to every known language structure. Estimated time to translation, 4 minutes. Those 4 minutes felt like hours." Foster watched the tactical display as the unknown ships moved deeper into Imperial space. They were heading directly toward the Korvax system, home to billions of Imperial citizens. If they were hostile, the casualties would be catastrophic. "Translation complete," Chen announced. "Playing now," a voice filled the operations center. It was cold, mechanical, utterly devoid of emotion. "Attention, primitive species. You have been judged and found wanting. Your civilizations represent disorder in the galactic structure. You will submit to the authority or face elimination. You have one standard cycle to respond. Choose wisely." Foster felt ice in her veins. "The authority. Do we have any records of them?" "Searching all databases now," Chen said. "Nothing in Earth records. Checking Imperial archives through the shared intelligence network. Wait, I have something. It is an old file, restricted classification. Over 3,000 years old. Show me." The screen changed to display ancient text. Foster read quickly, her alarm growing with each line. The authority was a legend, a story the Empire told to frighten children. An ancient race that supposedly enforced order across the galaxy thousands of years ago. They had disappeared mysteriously, and most historians believed they had never existed. Just myths created to explain old ruins and unexplained phenomena, except they were not myths. They were real. And they were back. "Get me Captain Torres," Foster ordered. "She needs to know what we are dealing with." Captain Angela Torres received the transmission aboard the Guardian. Her crew listened in stunned silence as Admiral Foster explained what the Authority was and what they had done thousands of years ago. According to the old records, the Authority had destroyed entire civilizations that did not meet their standards for order and advancement. They saw themselves as galactic caretakers, pruning species they deemed unworthy. "How do we fight them?" Torres asked. "We do not know," Foster admitted. "The records show that every species that resisted them was completely destroyed. No survivors, no hope. The Empire only survived because they submitted to Authority demands. They gave up their independence and became a puppet civilization for centuries. And that is what they want again? That is what they are offering. Submission or death." Torres looked at her crew. Human and Imperial officers stood side by side on her bridge, having learned to trust each other over the past weeks. They had fought pirates together, saved lives together, built something new together, and now some ancient power wanted to take it all away. "No," Torres said firmly. "We did not build this alliance just to surrender it. Admiral, I have a plan. It is risky, but it might be our only chance. I am listening. The Authority thinks we are primitive. They think we will either submit or fight them with conventional warfare. They are expecting us to be afraid. What if we do something they are not expecting? What if we show them exactly why humans and the Empire together are stronger than either of us alone?" Foster leaned forward. "Go on. Give me 6 hours," Torres said. 6 hours to gather every Earth and Imperial ship in this sector. We are going to do what humans do best. We are going to improvise, adapt, and show these ancient beings that the galaxy has changed while they were gone." Admiral Foster smiled grimly. "You have your 6 hours, Captain. Make them count. Because if this does not work, we might be looking at the end of both our civilizations." Torres closed the channel and turned to her crew. "All right, people, this is what we trained for. Commander Walsh, start running tactical simulations. I want every possible scenario analyzed. Captain Breck, coordinate with your fleet. We need every ship in perfect position. And someone get me a detailed scan of those Authority vessels. They may be ancient and powerful, but nothing is invincible. We just have to find their weakness." The countdown began. 6 hours to save 2 civilizations. 6 hours to prove that the alliance between Earth and the Empire was more than just a political agreement. It was the future of the galaxy, and the Authority was about to learn why threatening humanity was always a fatal mistake.